Well, a Killeen tax preparer has pleaded guilty to federal charges today. The charges deal with conspiracy to defraud the United States. Our Dennis Turner joining us now live in the studio. And Dennis, I think this is a story you've been eager to share because I think you uncovered more than you expected to.
This is not your garden variety tax cheat. This is something that was put on my plate, and I was like, well, this is easy. This is just somebody that cheated on their taxes. No. Once you get into this story, there's layers upon layers upon layers that go into the story. It's like a 2020 investigation almost. It really is interesting. The United States Department of Justice today released details of a tax cheat so bold it left victims around the country. The cheat, totaling tens of millions of taxpayer dollars, came from Killeen and a woman who ran a tax business out of her home. Now, apparently a lot more went on in that house than just cheating the government.
I had to look into the eyes of those people and hear their story. You know, she didn't, and you know, that's what's upsetting.
Amy Weber now lives in the home where Killeen tax preparer Stacey Anderson operated her tax business. The same Stacey Anderson who weeks ago pled guilty to a federal conspiracy charge for filing false tax returns. How much did she take Uncle Sam for? $10 million. Co-defendant Janelle Leitner pleaded guilty to helping Anderson and claimed responsibility for a $1.3 million loss to the rest of us taxpayers. Weber said Anderson seemed nice at first, but had people coming and going at all hours.
She would have multiple teenagers living here at one time. I've actually had police come knock on my door and say, have you seen this car before? And it was her car. It was involved in a robbery.
Anderson seemed to have many business interests, but for now, she'll go to jail for claiming false business items and education credits for clients who didn't qualify.
I think this is a case that really illustrates what can go wrong when you start cutting corners to save a little money. They put in a deduction here, they made up a credit there, they thought no one's going to catch this.
CPAs tell us when choosing a tax preparer to avoid anyone who leads you into certain deductions, who wants you to pay them and they'll pay Uncle Sam for you. Make sure they've never had what the IRS calls a preparer's penalty levied against them. And don't pay for tax preparation based on how much someone saves you. Anderson will face a judge for sentencing on October 9th. Leitner has a December 5th sentencing date. Why the difference? Well, perhaps you can find a clue in the U.S. Attorney's press release. It gives penalties for Leitner, but not for Anderson. Attorney Joshua Weaver says judges have discretion when it comes to how much jail time they order.
There are some mitigating circumstances. It depends on, the criminal herself in this case, the mental attitude, how remorseful they are.
And if they help build the prosecutor's case against their co-defendant. And what kind of person is Stacey Anderson? Listen to Amy Weber.
What she did was she literally packed up and ran and left the kids.
Anderson ran, but she didn't get far. The feds found her and hauled her in to face justice. Meantime, Weber bought Anderson's house, where who knows how many crimes began.
Right after we bought the house, everybody and their mama, including Homeland Security, was looking for her. So, and then when Homeland showed up, that's when we discovered what was actually going on in this house.
And when Anderson's victims came calling, Weber could only offer a sympathetic ear, knowing those victims had plenty of company, including every one of us that pays taxes. In Killeen, Dennis Turner, Central Texas News Now. Now, Josh Weaver, the attorney, says that these days the IRS uses complicated algorithms to uncover tax cheats like Anderson's. And Hunter, he believes that the IRS probably watched Anderson for more than a month or so before they finally moved in on her. This is an interesting story with victims around the country. And like I said, every one of us that pays taxes is a victim of this woman because she stole $10 million from the federal treasury.
All right, Dennis, thank you. And of course, he'll continue to track that story. We'll bring you updates as it becomes available.